The story starts and we see a woman. She was alone at home in a house. She felt something strange. She was the only one in the house, but she could hear some noises coming from the room upstairs. As she nervously approached the room, a tennis ball rolled out from under the door. The maid, trembling with fear, picked up a knife and stepped into the room, where she found a doll lying on the sofa. She carefully looked around the room, but no one else was there. She began to think that maybe with age, she was starting to have illusions. Just as she turned to leave the room, the doll suddenly attacked her. It was the same doll that was now behaving like a deranged killer. But the beginning of this terrifying story dates back to an incident that happened many years ago. A girl named Darcy was beaten by her alcoholic father just because she hadn't cleaned the house properly. During that beating, her most beloved doll also broke. The doll's clothes and stuffing were scattered across the room, and it was as if Darcy's mind snapped. In a fit of rage, she picked up a pair of scissors lying nearby, and without thinking, stabbed her father in the chest. To Darcy, that doll wasn't just a toy, it was her best friend. She never wanted anyone to touch or harm it. On the other hand, there was Astrid, who came from a happy family. Her father loved her very much, and she herself was a kind and positive-natured girl. That's why she caught Darcy's attention. In fact, during their childhood, both of them had studied in the same school. But after an accident, Astrid had left the school. Now, years later, meeting again felt very special to Darcy. On her way to school, Darcy would often pretend to bump into Astrid so she could walk with her. Due to the accident, Astrid had some difficulty walking, so Darcy would slow down her pace to match hers. As they walked, they talked about their childhood memories. Astrid showed Darcy a special item from her childhood, an old locket, and said she had kept it safe all these years. Hearing all this, Astrid became very emotional and invited Darcy to her birthday party. Darcy was very happy and promised to bring her a special gift. As the day of the party arrived, Astrid's friends found out that Darcy was also coming. They were unhappy about it and started speaking badly about her. Astrid tried to explain to everyone that no one should be insulted at the party, but her friends didn't stop making fun of Darcy. When Darcy arrived at Astrid's house with the gift, everyone mocked her and started complaining about a bad smell. Astrid invited her in and went to the kitchen to get something. Meanwhile, the friends taunted Darcy and insulted her behind Astrid's back. Hurt by this, Darcy left. When Astrid returned and saw Darcy was gone, she realized what had happened, became very angry, and scolded her friends. At that moment, one of the friends opened the gift, a beautiful but mysterious doll, without Astrid's permission. Everyone was shocked to see the doll. The gift seemed very strange to them, and they started making fun of it again, saying only a crazy person would give something like this. During this, Astrid's boyfriend Brad noticed a letter inside the box. In it, Darcy had written her heartfelt feelings for Astrid, how she had liked her since childhood, and how she still loved her. Brad was shocked to see that another girl was trying to take his girlfriend away. Astrid was also stunned. She couldn't understand what she had done to cause such a misunderstanding. The rest of the friends began mocking Darcy's feelings. Meanwhile, sitting at home, Darcy gets a call from Brad. Pretending to be sympathetic, Brad says that he will leave Astrid so that Darcy can have a chance. Darcy becomes very happy. But the very next moment, Brad bursts out laughing and says, "Why would someone like Astrid ever look at a crazy person like you?" Brad calls Darcy a psycho and useless, then cuts the call. Hearing this, Darcy completely breaks down. Without thinking, she goes straight to Astrid's house and demands, "You have to decide now." Astrid gets nervous seeing Darcy in this condition and is unable to say anything. Just then, she notices a smell like petrol coming from Darcy's clothes. She immediately invites her inside and asks her to take a shower. But Darcy refuses and says, "I'm going to end myself now so my pain ends, and you can never forget me." Saying this, Darcy walks away. A panicked Astrid leaves with her father in their car. After searching for a while, they see a burning fire in the middle of the road. Darcy had really set herself on fire. A few days later, her funeral took place. Astrid is deeply saddened, while the rest of the friends don't take the incident very seriously. That night, while Astrid is sleeping in her room, the doll is placed beside her moves. The next morning, Astrid goes to school. Only the maid is left at home now. And this is when that same scary incident happens which the story had begun with. In the evening, Astrid and her father can't find the maid anywhere, so they assume she has left. After dinner, Astrid's father leaves for a meeting, and Astrid is left alone at home. A little later, two of Astrid's friends come to visit her. But the pain of Darcy's death still lingers in Astrid's heart. That's why she doesn't feel like meeting anyone. The next morning, Astrid goes to the very place where Darcy had set herself on fire. She stares blankly at the ashes, lost in thought. Nearby, the school psychologist, Dr. Olivia, also arrives. Seeing Astrid sad, she gives her her card and says, "If you ever feel heavy-hearted, you can talk to me." Meanwhile, Fiona, a friend who had visited Astrid's house the previous night, meets Brad in a very panicked state. She had actually forgotten her phone at Astrid's house that night. The phone contained messages and pictures that could expose their relationship in front of Astrid. The two of them make a plan to quietly go back to Astrid's house and retrieve the phone. However, since Astrid's school ends early that day, she returns home sooner than expected. Brad asks her to stay back. Meanwhile, Fiona quietly sneaks into the house and begins looking for her phone. Suddenly, she hears her phone ringing. Following the sound, she walks toward the hall, where she finds the same doll sitting on the floor, and her phone placed right in front of it. Without thinking, Fiona picks up the phone. But just then, the doll stands up. As soon as she picks up the phone, the doll slashes Fiona's neck with a sharp object. Blood starts gushing out like a fountain. Staggering, Fiona runs toward the bathroom and falls into the bathtub. The doll follows her and begins filling the tub with water. Slowly, Fiona's breathing stops, and she drowns to death. The doll hides her body. On the other side, Brad waits by the pool. But even after an hour, Fiona doesn't show up. The next day is Astrid's birthday. Her friends arrive at her house and begin preparing for a surprise party. But they don't know that now. Astrid isn't the only one living in this house. Darcy is here too. Astrid tells her doctor about her and Darcy's childhood and how they used to be very close friends. But she never had any idea that Darcy would start having such feelings for her. Even though Astrid couldn't accept his love, she promised that she would always keep the gift given by Darcy safe. When Astrid showed the doll to the doctor, he was a little surprised, expressed a desire to see the doll himself. Meanwhile, on the first floor of the house, three friends were busy decorating for the birthday. Just then, Brad receives a message from Fiona, and he excitedly rushes upstairs. But the moment he enters the room, he is shocked. Fiona's lifeless body lies there, cold and motionless. He thinks of running downstairs in fear, but as soon as he turns around, the doll is standing right in front of him. The doll attacks Brad and kills him too, hiding his body. In the meantime, Astrid and the doctor arrive at the house, where her friends are all ready to celebrate her birthday. They give her a lovely surprise. Astrid chats with everyone for a while, and then takes the doctor to her room, where the doll was kept. As soon as the doctor sees the doll, he is stunned. Seen such a doll before? In fact, Darcy's mother used to practice black magic and dark rituals. This doll is actually a cursed doll, which is used to trap evil spirits inside. Astrid gets scared after hearing this. The doctor advises her to go downstairs and join the party, while he will examine the doll alone. During the examination, the doctor finds human hair and teeth inside the doll. He gets frightened and immediately calls the police. Then he goes downstairs to call Astrid and tells her, "Come upstairs for a moment. I need to talk to you about something important." When the doctor returns to the room, the doll is missing. Starts looking for it everywhere. Suddenly, he is attacked from behind with a hammer, and the doctor falls unconscious. Meanwhile, Astrid comes upstairs with a cake to call the doctor. Just then, she sees bloodstains on the floor and a small hammer. She realizes that the doctor's in danger. Astrid runs into the room where the doctor is lying in a half-dead condition. Says, "Call the police." Before Astrid can fully understand what's going on, the doll sitting on the sofa suddenly stands up. Out of fear, Astrid steps back, and then the doll removes its mask. It's none other than Darcy. Astrid is completely shocked. After all, Darcy had died in the fire. Darcy smiles and says, "The one who burned was my father's corpse. I just put one of my teeth in it." When they found the tooth in the ashes, everyone assumed I was dead. Astrid is stunned by this confession. Darcy goes on, "I was the one who killed that maid, the traitor Brad, and Fiona who used to talk behind your back. I did it all for you, Astrid." The doctor now realizes that Darcy's mental state has severely deteriorated. tries to reason with him, but Darcy, in a fit of rage, pulls out a knife and takes the doctor hostage. Then he says to Astrid, "Go downstairs and send everyone away. No one should be here." To save the doctor's life, Astrid goes downstairs and finds an excuse to end the party and send all the guests away. When Astrid returns upstairs, the doctor is tied to a chair. Darcy now says, "Come, Astrid, let's go far away and start a new life. Just you and me." But just then, the sound of the front door opening is heard. Astrid's father had returned home. Astrid starts shouting loudly. In a fit of anger, Darcy pushes her against the wall. Astrid had also been tied up. When her father returned home, he didn't find anything unusual. He sat down comfortably and started sipping his drink. But as soon as he turned around, Darcy attacked him. He brutally injured Astrid's father with knives. Upstairs, Astrid and the doctor were trying to untie each other's ropes by leaning back to back. Just then, the police arrived. They found Astrid's father soaked in blood and immediately took off their jackets to apply pressure to his wounds. But no one realized that Darcy was standing right behind them at that moment. By now, Darcy had completely crossed the limits of madness. His only goal was to kill anyone who came in his way. After freeing themselves upstairs, Astrid and the doctor somehow made it downstairs. Seeing her bleeding father, Astrid began crying loudly. At that moment, Darcy confidently walked up and stood in front of them. In anger, Astrid asked him, "Why did you hurt my dad?" Darcy's response shocked everyone. He said, "There used to be a deep relationship between my mother and your dad. He betrayed our family." But the doctor immediately replied, "I've known Darcy's mother for a long time. She could never do something like that." While the argument was going on, one of Astrid's friends suddenly arrived. She had come back to get her phone and struck Darcy's head with a liquor bottle she was holding. Darcy fell down but got back up within moments, as if he hadn't felt anything. He picked up the police officer's pistol lying nearby and shot Astrid's friend. As the situation spiraled out of control, Astrid and the doctor decided to work together to calm Darcy down. The doctor began using his professional experience to try and reason with Darcy. But Darcy was furious. He called the doctor's words complete nonsense and shot him, then complaining about the world. "This world never understood me. Everyone was always against me." Meanwhile, Astrid secretly picked up a sharp knife. To distract Darcy, she showed him his old locket, which held memories from his childhood. As soon as Darcy got a little emotional, Astrid thrust the knife into his stomach. She pushed him aside and quickly turned to check on the doctor and her father. All three were alive but in critical condition. As Astrid reached for the phone to call an ambulance, Darcy stood up again. His eyes were filled with hatred and he screamed, "You betrayed me, Astrid!" This time he picked up the doll mask nearby and wore it on his face. And that was the end of the terrifying story. In the beginning, everyone thought it was a tale about ghosts or spirits, but in reality, it was all the doing of a mentally broken girl who made an innocent doll part of her twisted plan. With this, the story ends here. Let me know your thoughts. Also, subscribe to this channel for more horror stories like this.